Welcome back to my channel, On the Road with Susan. Tonight, we are taking a different kind of road trip. Pennsylvania might be known for its rolling hills, tons of history, and that small town charm. But beneath all that beauty, there is a deep, dark side of Pennsylvania that we're going to talk about tonight. From haunted battlefields to forgotten asylums, to elegant hotels where guests never really checked out. So light a candle, grab a blanket, and we are going to explore 20 of Pennsylvania's most haunted locations. Let's get into it. Every haunted road in Pennsylvania all leads to one place. That's Gettysburg. That small, quaint town still bears the scars of the Civil War. The three-day battle that was fought there in 1863 turned farmland into hollow ground. And those soldiers' spirits, they never left.
Over 50,000 men died or were wounded here, and according to countless visitors, some are still marching. On a still night, cannon fires echoes through the valleys. Hikers hear phantom footsteps and muffled orders being shouted through the fog. Photographers capture glowing orbs floating near monuments, and some visitors mistaken apparitions as Civil War reenactors until they vanish into the mist. The battlefields in Gettysburg isn't just sacred, it's haunted. And if you stand quietly, you might just hear the rumble of war that never truly ended.
This inn is peaceful now, but those walls remember every scream, every shot, and every breath that was taken there.
The Farnsworth House Inn, built in 1810, served as a Confederate sharpshooter's nest during the battle. Over 100 bullet holes still scar its brick's exterior. Later, the house became a makeshift hospital where wounded soldiers cried out for help that never came. Guests report thuds of boots pacing in the attic and the twang of the saw harp playing softly and the faint whispers floating through the dark. One of the most well-known spirits is Jeremy, a playful ghost of a young boy who tugs at the sleeves and giggles. Paranormal investigators have captured recordings of soldiers calling orders and women sobbing softly. A night here is never just a night's stay, it's an encounter with the past. Jenny Wade was only 20 years old when she became the battle's only civilian casualty. A bullet tore through her kitchen door as she baked bread for the Union soldiers, killing her instantly. Today, the house where she was killed is a museum, but her spirit still lingers. Visitors hear footsteps in the halls, doors slamming, and the faint sound of children laughing. Standing in the kitchen, many feel a sudden chill, as though Jenny was still there, doing what she loved, unaware that her kindness made her a ghost. Peaceful and picturesque during the day. The sash bridge becomes eerie when night falls. Legend says 3 Confederate soldiers were hung from the beams for treason. After dark, visitors smell cigar smoke, feel cold drafts, and hear boots crossing the bridge behind them. Even when they're alone, paranormal teams record cries for help, knocks along the beams, and floating lights above the water. They call it one of the most haunted bridges in America, a place where dead still marches forward to the unseen home.
Gettysburg is quiet now, but the silence is heavy. You can still feel the soldiers there, like the battle has never ended. So after a day on the battlefield, you might think you're going to find a cozy inn to take a good night's rest. But in Pennsylvania, even the most elegant hotels have guests that you won't find on the register.
Built in the 1920s atop a site of an old Moravian inn, the historic Hotel Bethlehem mixes luxury with lingering spirits. Guests tell of barefoot landladies drifting through the hallways, actresses singing softly in the lobby, and a phantom tour guide greeting visitors in the basement. Lights flicker, objects move, and yet there's nothing malice about these hauntings. It's as if the former residents loved their hotel too much to leave. Built in 1871, this fortress-like jail became infamous for the hanging of the Molly Maguires, the Irish miners accused of violent crimes. Before one man was executed, he pressed his hand to the wall, vowing his innocence. His handprint remains to this day, its resistance to paint and cleaning. Visitors hear moans echoing in the empty cells, see shadows pacing, and feel icy air that no heating system could explain. The old jail isn't just a museum. It's a courtroom, a prison, and a ghost story of all in one. Built in 1794, Selma Mansion has seen centuries of life and death. Its residents were prominent families, but the house feels anything but peaceful. Guests hear footsteps overhead, doors slamming, and whispers that seem to come from the walls. Paranormal teams captured voices on recorders, a man, a woman, even a crying baby. Standing in the candlelit parlor, you can almost feel eyes watching you from the staircase. It's as if the mansion is alive, breathing softly through the centuries. Dating back to 1704, the General Wayne Inn hosts George Washington, Edgar Allan Poe, and countless travelers, living and dead. Hessian soldiers have been seen marching through its halls. Dinners appear at a table, only to be vanished mid-meal. Some say Poe's ghost still lives, pen in hand, perhaps writing one more verse. Even the air here feels thick with time, a place where literature, history, and haunting
You might
blend
think
together.
checking into one of these historic inns is romantic, but you'll soon find the ghosts have been there a lot longer than you. We're going to leave those bedrooms and ballrooms behind and go on to something a little bit different. Some of Pennsylvania's most active ghosts are where people have gathered to perform, to study, and even to pray.
The Mishler Theater in Altoona opened in 1906, a dream brought to life by its founder, Isaac Mishler. Today, the building still hums with his presence. Performers smell cigarette smoke backstage, Isaac's trademark. Shadows move across the balcony, and actors feel someone standing just behind them as they perform. He's not a frightening ghost, more of a watchful guardian, ensuring his theater and the art he loved never dies. The University of Pittsburgh Cathedral of Learning stands 42 stories high, a Gothic masterpiece filled with history and hauntings. The early American room is notorious. Chairs scrape on their own, candle flares, and books tumble from the shelves. Students studying after midnight report footsteps following them, even when they're only there alone. Legends say Mary Shinley, the ghost, still glides through the ballroom, dressed in white, forever attending a dance she never had. In the quiet woods outside of Bradford stands an abandoned Burlington church, closed for decades, but never truly silent. Visitors claim to hear organ music playing from within, even though the organ has been removed years ago. Light glow faintly in the windows, and ghostly figures sit in the pews during the night. In the adjoining cemetery, mist gathers over the headstones, and people see shapes moving among the trees. For those brave enough to visit, Burlington Church is pure, untouched fear.
Theaters, schools, and churches, places that were meant to be for joy, learning, and worshiping. But once the lights go out, the echoes still remain. Now, this is where Pennsylvania's haunting history turns really dark, where healing turned to horror and the silent suffering never ended.
Open in 1926 as a poor farm and later as a nursing home, Hillview Manor cared for society's forgotten. Thousands died within its walls. Visitors hear voices calling their names, see shadows racing across the halls, and encounter men, ghosts, offering to take their picture for $1, though no one knows who he is. Ghost hunters say it is one of the most reliable, haunting buildings in Pennsylvania. Once you walk inside, you will feel the weight of years pressing down on you. Penhurst Asylum opened in 1908 with good intentions, but quickly became a nightmare of overcrowding and neglect. By 1987, it was shut down, but not emptied. Visitors hear screams, doors slamming, and voices crying out. Some feel invisible hands pushing them. Paranormal investigators around the world call Penhurst one of the most terrifying places in existence. It's a place where human suffering left an imprint the world still can feel. Built in 1851 as a model of compassionate care, the Pennsylvania State Lunatic Hospital followed the Kurt Bride plan. Long wings, open-air natural light, but time and overcrowding twisted those ideals. Former staff describe footsteps in empty corridors, shadows behind the windows, and doors slamming in deserted wards. Those who enter after its closure says the air feels thick, charged with decades of pain. The hospital story is a reminder that good intentions can turn haunted. Opened in 1829, Keystone State Penitentiary introduced solitary confinement, a method that broke the minds instead of mending the souls. Al Capone once stayed here, tormented by the ghost of the man he wronged. Visitors today hear whispers, see dark figures in the cell blocks, and feel the invisible eyes watching. At night, the prison becomes a maze of shadows. Even hardened skeptics admit that inside these walls, the past feels painfully alive.
These places were built to heal and mend the soul, but they became tombs of despair. And if you listen closely, the people that used to live there have something to say. Not all hauntings are locked up behind closed doors. Some roam in caverns and parks, and yes, historic battlefields. And others have even made their way to the silver screen.
From 1884 to 1982, the Cary blast furnace forged the steel that built America and cost many workers their lives. Today, explorers hear footsteps on the catwalks, phantom clangs of metal, and ghostly figures in the hard hats. The air still carries the scent of smoke as if the furnaces are waiting for the workers to return. This breathtaking cavern hides a tragic legend. Nita Nees, a Native American woman, was entombed alive after falling in love with a forbidden man. Boat tours guide through the waters, but visitors report icy chills, whispers echoing through the cave, and rippling forms on still waters. Some swear they see the shadow moving beneath the surface. Nita Nees still waiting for her lost love.
We are experiencing technical difficulties I will be narrating now. Beneath Penn Park's quiet lawns lie the unmarked graves of soldiers from 2 wars. After dusk, walkers hear whispers and footsteps following them. Some feel a cold hand brush against theirs. The park's beauty hides centuries of sorrow beneath its soil. In September 1777, the Paoli massacre left over 200 American soldiers dead in a surprise nighttime attack. The British used their bayonets to kill the soldiers as they slept. Today, people hear phantom gunfire and cries for help. Orbs dance through the trees, and ghostly soldiers have been photographed wandering the fields. At Paoli, the war never truly ended. It just went quiet. Film lovers know it as the birthplace of George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, but locals know it for its real ghosts. Visitors describe mists rolling between graves, whispers in the wind, and the feeling of being watched. Paranormal investigators have captured strand lights flickering among the stones. It's a place where fiction and supernatural overlap, a graveyard that became immortal in more ways than one.
I have actually visited this cemetery, and even though it's tranquil, it is still eerie. I'll leave the link in the description below so you can go back and see my visit of the Evans City Night of the Living Dead Cemetery. These 20 haunted locations remind us that the history never really goes away. So which one of these haunted places do you dare to explore? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and follow me for more interesting stories of Pennsylvania. Until next time, make sure you keep the lights on.